Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Geeking Out podcast. And straight up, we are recording part 2 of the WrestleCon Supershow, or Mark Hitchcock Memorial Supershow, as it's now going to be known. Charloco's my guest again, and when we last left
Hey guys.
we saw a 6-man tag with Jushin Thunder Liger, X-Pac, and the Hurricane versus the Revolt. And now we are on the timestamp, if you'd like to watch along with us. 1 hour, 21 minutes. We are looking at the matchup screen for Dragon Lee versus... forgive me if you're a fan of this guy, and I completely fuck this all up. Barbaro Cavernario?
The Cavanero? No, I'm a fan of this guy, and I don't know either. Sorry.
I remember seeing Dragon Lee, but I don't remember this guy. So this is going to be a nice trip down memory lane on many conceivable ways. Or it can be like last week, where I don't remember much of the Rob Eagles match, and I can go off on a tangent about why Jon Moxley is... I don't connect with Jon Moxley. Who knows? But if you would like to follow along with us, please fast forward to 1 hour, 21 minutes and press play now. All right, so, okay, so you said you are a fan of this individual. What can you tell me about him?
Granted, I haven't seen much of him, but I feel like he was, not sure if he still is, but he was a part of a lot of the Fantastic Mania shows that New Japan and CMLL would do, and I just feel he would always stand out and have good matches, but I'd really not really see him anywhere else. So, but yeah, whenever I see the guy, I'm like, oh hey, yeah, nice.
Fair enough.
That's that's kind of a caveman gimmick, but that's about all I know.
Again, you're really seeing, as I mentioned last week, I'm really just not hip on the lucha scene. Gonna quote JR, perhaps I should. Do you
You're like Gabe Splasky, you hate lucha.
Do you, that's become like an inside joke with a good friend of mine because it was immortalized on Botchamania. Are you familiar with that JR moment?
No, which one's this?
So, he was doing the live commentary for one of the American shows that was live on Access. I want to say it was the one with the U.S. title tournament and everything. Yeah. And again, I know of this through Botchamania, but Hiromu Takahashi, speaking of, hey, it works out, because there's Dragon Lee and Hiromu Takahashi. So, because it makes me laugh just thinking about it, because it's just very, it's like JR on the nose. Hiromu's coming out with Daryl, and he's walking around with Daryl, and he's like, Hiromu Takahashi comes to the ring with the stuffed cat, and I don't know why. Perhaps I should. That's exactly how he said it. That's exactly how he put it. I'm like, comes to the ring with stuffed cat. I don't know why. Perhaps I should.
As someone with really bad anxiety, I wish I could give as little as a fuck as Jim Ross calling New Japan.
Yeah.
Man, he did not care about much. And when in doubt, just compare whatever he's seeing to something in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, I will play devil's advocate for him comparing something to the 80s, because you're flipping through the channels and you're an American that is not familiar with the Japanese wrestling scene, and it's significantly different than the American wrestling scene. You go what's going... Okay, why is things this way? Oh, this is what happened here. Oh, okay, I kind of get it now.
No, that's fair, but, sometimes he would just kind of pull it out of his ass and just be, the most basic one. Because I think it was one where it was, Naito, Sonata, and Evil were coming out. And he was like, they're a great trio. Another great trio. Fabulous Freebirds, and was just doing this comparison. I was like,
There's the worm.
I think he's just basing this on the fact that like there's like on Futurama, there's 3 of you, there's 3 of them. It's perfect.
Got a Futurama reference in now. I'm very happy. Yeah, well, it's funny. I meant, I didn't set this up, but like it just kind of dawned on me by mentioning that New Japan is something that if you're not used to it, you're not gonna you really will not understand it. Also, it really looks like he's got a dick drawn on his arm.
Samoa Joe style. Nice.
Yeah. Tell me that's not a penis!
No, it's the Age of Violence symbol. No, it's
that is a damn dick and balls. I am sorry. Whoever was drawing him pulled a fast one on this dude.
Yeah. They're like, no, it's a bone. You like a caveman bone. Yeah, sure.
I'm not monetized, but this one so would not get monetized after that one. But I'm not trying to gatekeep in any. Here's my tangent. I'm not trying to gatekeep in any way, shape, or form. But whenever the very rare occasions on my live streams where I bring up New Japan, and I'm not knocking Eric or Easy or anybody, they have a lot of other interests and don't have New Japan World and haven't watched all of show before he got banned from YouTube, all of Showbuckle's videos, and didn't watch before he got banned from YouTube all of Wrestling Rantin's videos explaining the booking process in the stables. So they don't know, but they don't know the psychology and the different forms of storytelling. So, but it's just very hard. When I bring up New Japan, they're like, well, why isn't Okada doing this? Or why don't we have this guy turn heel again? Or why don't they just have Naito join the Bullet Club? They haven't suggested that, but they're throwing all these weird suggestions. Ew, I forgot that part. That's gross. So they're bringing all these suggestions, and it's as somebody who's very much against gatekeeping and toxic fandom. I mean, I did a April Fool's parody video about that. I find it hard. How do I say no? That's stupid, or how do I say New Japan would never do that? And in the vociferous way of you have no idea what you're trying to suggest to New Japan right now to my co-host, my friends, without sounding like a total gatekeeping hipster of well, why don't they just have whoever just win the title? Why not? No, New Japan doesn't do this. That's just how my head is going.
My favorite thing about New Japan discourse is just it all just boils down to fans telling other fans that they don't understand because they just haven't been watching as long as they have.
Exactly. That'd be pretty much. I know. I joke on my live stream. I pull out my be a dick card one time. There's one time I allow myself to be an absolute dick on there, and I remember it was the New Year's stream where we were going through all of our different favorite matches in our year in awards. Basically we're Dave Meltzer light, only not all of our matches were things you haven't heard of. And it was the one time I pulled out my be a dick card was because
we go Jonathan, and it's full just Ring of Honor pure title matches.
No, it was ironically so Easy he's a Smith Huge fan. He's still he liked Evil, and he liked Evil joining the Bullet Club, and he thought that Evil should have had a longer title reign, which that's fine. That's his opinion. But this is where I'm no, I will not allow this. So that's my one time, and if EC hears this, I love you, bro. But that was the one time. That time I'm no, I'm right. You're wrong. This is stupid. I will concede every other point. I will let you have your. This is my one where I am pulling the dick out, and, and the dick is coming out. I will not justify that. That was bad. That made Jinder Mahal look like Ric Flair.
Yeah, I like the fact that we do, I feel like for the most part we have kind of collectively just act like that never happened.
Yeah.
It's like Naito won the belt at Wrestle Kingdom, then he lost it at the next Wrestle Kingdom. There, done.
Yeah. Like, I give him credit for trying. It's just, Evil was just not the right guy. Like, he's just not on that level. I mean, make an omelet, you gotta break a few eggs, but, make sure the egg doesn't have blood in it.
True.
But we could go into a whole nother rant about where New Japan's direction is going and how poor it is, but that's a whole nother debate for another day.
Can't even remember. Did we end up doing that New Japan Cup video? I don't think we did.
We didn't, because what do we talk about?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's something else. And I mean, I make no bones about the fact that I Will Ospreay is one of my least favorite wrestlers, and again, much like with Jay White, bring your hate. I will, I don't want the hate from the Mox people because I don't hate John Moxley, or I don't want the hate from, other people I'm kind of critical of, because I don't hate them. I'm just not as big of a fan. Jay White and Will Ospreay fans at Twitter at @athletic_geek89. Fuck them both. I don't like them. I shouldn't say one of them, not fuck him personally, but as wrestling, fuck that, yeah. But even with that, they said, you want to talk about the New Japan Cup, or are you just pissed off that Will Ospreay won? I'm like, it's not even that Will Ospreay won. It's just the one thing I've noticed about my show, and I've brought this up on the live stream, is when there's a good wrestling match, what do you say about it other than it's a good wrestling match? Watch it.
Yeah.
Hey, they had some good matches. You should definitely go check those out. That's kind of the state New Japan's in. It's hey, here's some good matches. You might want to check them out. Which some people will argue that's why it's still great, and why AEW sucks, and why you're still, why the fact that they're still having these great matches, or why that Dave Meltzer wants to give 11 stars to, or why liking Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, or Brian Cage is bad, and you should feel bad. But on the flip side, it's New Japan used to have the great matches and the engaging storylines.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that had to hurt.
Yeah.
So it was
good match.
It was the great booking, and it was kind of this ultimate best of everything. If you don't just need an American style of booking, if you're okay being patient, you're okay with the long-term storytelling, you like it. But now it's just hey, here's a good match. And it's okay, I'll check out that good match.
Yeah, because I feel like we're in a point in wrestling right now where it's pretty fortunate where you don't have to look that hard to find a good match. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly...
So if there's New Japan and it's so even with the good matches, if there's something frustrating you, whether it be the booking or just the inaccessibility of it or so on and so forth, it's getting to that point where it's it's just not worth the effort of putting up with the other things when you can find good wrestling relatively easy, much easier than New Japan right now if they're already having other problems.
I guess my biggest issue with New Japan is, and and I'm not saying I'm immune from any of this. There's been plenty of times in other group chats they've said, here's this WWE match and it's match of the year, and I guess I've been that guy in that sense of it was good, but did you watch Naito and Okada or whatever, So, I've been in the situation where I've been that New Japan guy, but I feel and maybe I'm not, but I feel I've been at least a little bit more of the diplomatic New Japan guy.
Yeah.
compared to others like New Japan people, where it's like the aforementioned three names. You say something that's not New Japan is good, or not Dave Meltzer cliche New Japan is good. Oh, did you fucking not know what good wrestling is? And I mean, like I said, I pulled the asshole card out a few times myself, but it's like right now, just you're right. Like the accessibility of good wrestling is just kind of everywhere. It's like, why should I
Yeah.
stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning to see it? Now, I'm not getting rid of my New Japan World subscription because eventually I'm going to see something I like. But it's just when you go from something being, I took a vacation from my real job once so that way I could catch the last week of the G1
Yeah.
Climax. It's like
Yeah.
what? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, going somewhere special for your vacation? Nope, I'm staying home so I can stay up late every night to watch Japanese pro wrestling, and so that way I can not be spoiled about it on the internet.
Yeah, that's the thing. It takes effort to be a New Japan fan, like in touch with it, and like to watch it soon enough, not be spoiled. So like there is genuine effort to like be that kind of fan, and then once the promotion isn't good enough to justify that effort, it's hard to like keep that same level of commitment.
It's like I feel like New Japan now is like the decisions they make. They're forgiven because they're New Japan.
Yeah, I'm like give another year or two of that, and we'll see how people respond.
I don't know. Like you go on Reddit and like Gato's still Christ, and if you say anything else, you're a heretic. I mean, who the fuck would be throwing shit?
I think it's a dollar bill. Like it was a good match, so they threw money.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I think they did that for like a match a year, like at a pre. Yeah, okay, I see some more dollar bills.
Okay. I'm okay. I was about ready to go on a fucking rant just now because I'm like,
Yeah.
who's throwing trash after that match? Seriously.
But no real gossip about this match. This is what they booked. It turned out that way. Because basically, from what they did mention, I guess CMLL has it that their wrestlers cannot face anyone outside of Mexico, besides CMLL or New Japan wrestlers. So you can't really do much else with them.
I know the AAA guys probably. Well, okay. That's very interesting you say that because didn't it all end? There was. Okay, well, I guess they didn't wrestle them. They were on the same team. Like, didn't you have a AAA, a CMLL, and for all intents and purposes, a WWE guy on the same team at All In? And I don't believe I threw a dollar bill in because I just been hustling for $50 and I wanted.
And let's be honest, we were so far back that just some other fan would have gotten our money.
That's true. All right, Shane Strickland versus Zack Saber Jr. This was, in my opinion, the best match itself on the card. That is going to be very controversial because Will Ospreay is yet to wrestle. So.
But so yeah, this, where I was like, just wait, I'm gonna like make it awkward again. Well, I'm about to make it awkward again.
Go ahead.
As this match was originally going to be Zack Saber Jr. versus Mike Quackenbush.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's that guy. But
and
yeah.
What's really like sad
is like back then we would have been pumped for it.
Oh fuck! If I would have seen Quackenbush come out, you would have. I might have like. I went horse booing Will Ospreay at Rev Pro. I would have been horse cheering to get to see Quack again. And now, like, he's persona non grata.
Yeah, but Quack had to pull out a few weeks because of injury, and then they just decided to go with Strickland just because they never wrestled before, and Helico was an option, but his visa didn't arrive at the time. But yeah, there's another.
And
Let's make this
Strickland was
awkward
on
now
his way
moment.
to WWE at this point. I
Yeah,
guess
this was
what?
like his goodbye tour.
Yeah. Um, well, I mean, I'm sure we got what we wanted out of this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I guess hindsight 2020. While I'm sure, hell, Quack and ZSJ would have probably made it into my top 10 favorite matches I've seen in person of all time. Probably would have been one of my top in the top three for sure of all the matches, top 3 or 4 I saw all weekend. But it would have had the big damper put on it a year later with everything that went on. So, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Zack Saber Jr. to me he is a wrestler that. So okay, so like I mentioned, kind of the three big names that the not everybody, but kind of like the collective internet comes after me for putting over on my show and on like a grand level because they're like, these guys are really not that good. Why do you like them? Are you childish, stupid, or just don't know what good wrestling is? Be the three, like I said, Cage, Rhodes, and Owens. Um, ZSJ is the one I get kind of the. I either get like the wow, an American appreciates ZSJ. That's so fucking cool. Or another American appreciates ZSJ. That's so wonderful. And then I get like the other half being like, so you don't like Jay or Osprey, but you like Zack Saber Jr. Like, I didn't realize that you like. One tweet that I got, I'm reading like my mean tweets, is like, you like Zack Saber Jr. Are you that boring in bed? And I tweeted like back, well, first of all, if you can do some of the shit Zack Saber Jr. can do in bed, that's fucking great. I don't understand what the downside is, but like that's just kind of. I don't know if like I want to say that ZSJ is like a controversial figure, but it's just one of those. You either appreciate that style or you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, they're. I'm not trying to go on no Bully Ray, Jim Cornette-esque rant of, goddamn piece of fucking shit, fucking don't slow the fucking shit down, all the fucking high spots, cocksucking motherfuckers. Fuck my wife, I'm a cuckold bitch. That I'm not taking back, Jim. Fuck you. And fuck any of his fans that hear this.
Oh God.
I will. Here, I'm pulling out my Be a Dick card. Jim Cornette is my Be a Dick card. But, I'm not trying to do that, but it's like, I do feel that, like, so many people see, like, that style. I mean, and I like the Young Bucks as much as the next person, but they see, like, all this different stuff that, when they see a Zack Sabre Jr., they're like, so what now?
Yeah.
It's like, so why do people like him?
No, no, I got you. I feel like it took me a bit to get into it because like he had the reputation, and I think you see him like the first time on the Cruiserweight Classic, and you're like, okay. I mean, he was alright. I think it took a little bit into his New Japan run to be like, okay, I see it now.
Now, see, I'm like like I'm not gonna say I was like following ZSJ for forever, but like, this is my fucking jam. So, like, I love Johnny Saint. I love like watching World of Sport. This fucking shit is like. Give me all of this. Like, I'm not saying it's the only thing I like, but like this is something I really really like, and I Zack Saber Jr. was one of the wrestlers that I met earlier before this, and it was just kind of Counting your standard, nice guy, standard meet and greet. The only thing that was awkward is all the meat is murder, go vegan stickers that he included with the T-shirt that I bought from him. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
thank you. I don't want these. Thank you. We just got done eating 2 big old slabs of New York pizza full of sausage and pepperoni. Lots of animal cruelty there. Lots of animal cruelty. So it's like, so I mean, I'm not bashing that, but it's like
Yeah.
he feels like it's his prerogative to get those out. But it's like,
I'll say it's a shame he only had like the one short main event stint in New Japan, like winning the New Japan Cup and facing Okada.
I think that's
Like-
another reason why I have so much resentment towards Jay. Other than the fact that again, another big tangents. A shit ton of the Jay White apologists are the ones telling me that, oh, here's all these wrestlers that you like from not New Japan. Well, do you hate good wrestling or something? And then there's Jay White wrestling the exact same style as 2 of the 3 of them, and not even as good as 2 of the 3 of them.
Yeah.
But he's got internet godhood status. And they're like, well, even you gotta admit he's the best. He's the best gaijin they got. I'm like, no, he is not.
He's the Kiwi Cody.
He is great value, Kiwi Cody. He's not even the name brand. He is. He you went to Walmart and got Cody and Kiwi flavor. It's like Zack
It's like the Fruit Strike gum version of Kiwi.
Yeah, aw. But Zack Saber Jr., okay, maybe his style is not for everybody, but his character is fucking this pretentious. Here he was being nice, giving me these Go Vegan stickers, and I'm like, after meeting a guy that I, for all intents and purposes, is still a huge fan of, and then he goes on his in his press conferences on when he was playing heel, because he's kind of turned babyface in New Japan now, but where he's talking about how I'm gonna die with the J1 Climax. You can bear me next to Karl Marx, and he's talking about how capitalism made him have a bad G1, and fucking doing bringing up these I don't follow American politics, and here he is bringing up these British politic things. You're just fuck this guy, fuck this overbearing political. He's talking about how talking about how communism, he's bringing communism up, and how he's gonna be the strength of this, and he's gonna he's bringing up all these things. It's just he's the pretentious college douche.
Yeah.
That reads the
He had the intro to sociology class.
Yeah, and now he's and he's that guy that comes up to you anytime you're doing something, and he's pointing out that oh, that's bad, and I loved it because it's wow, I legitimately don't enjoy people like him. Hey, you like my new jacket? Oh, that's consumerism. He's one of those guys from college.
Yeah.
Or you're eating I brought up the vegan thing, oh, that a cow's life had to die so you can kill yourself. That's him. I don't know if that's how if he's that militant. I don't know. On Twitter he seems pretty militant about his shit, but I don't know if that's just to get more heat, or if he's like Daniel Bryan, where he's I'm gonna turn this up because it's fun. But to me, that's why he's a better top gaijin than Jay.
Yeah.
Jay's just shut, bro. I'm nice. I'd be nice, pervert. I cannot do a New Zealand accent. But he's just
Oh god, no.
oh, shot, bro. I am the switchblade. I do
Nice
switchblade
pivot.
things. I'm going to beat Tanahashi. I'm Bullet Club leader now. Like, it's just like, okay, bud. Okay.
I'm King Switch, although I think that's something else, depending on what you're into.
No joke. I'm not going to go into too big a detail, but I showed a friend who is very much into some of stuff like that, and she
Yeah.
saw King Switch, and she just like her mind. She's not a wrestling fan, and her mind just like went in like about 1,000 different directions.
Same. Like I almost just thought of like getting that for like friends in that sort of persuasion,
Yes.
just for the gag, and like they're not even being wrestling fans. I just think they would appreciate it.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Well, here, someone can enjoy some Jay White merchandise for once."
Well, then I eventually said like, yeah, he switches to submissive for Gato. That's how he gets all these pushes.
Okay, but before this match ends, I need to bring up the first time I saw Shane Strickland here.
Yeah, we've ignored Shane Strickland, who's done a tremendous job in this match.
Yeah, this is a good match. But so in the Charlotte scene, there was a local referee that I was friends with. He ended up being dubbed Husky Ref due to like his frame. And long story short, he was a very strong, unapologetic Vince Russo mark. Like, Vince Russo is the best booker and everything else is wrong. But this led to eventually he decided, screw it. This referee decided to book like a show for like his own birthday. Like,
Right.
and just invited friends and everybody. This was in July. It was called Summer Swerve. It was like it was behind a bar, just in some like there was a like wrestler. Everyone was just having a cookout. It was a good time. There was a bachelorette party that also was at the bar that just happened to be at this wrestling show, and they got involved. But yeah, the main event was Shane Strickland against somebody, and since it was the referee's birthday, it's like they just decided to have him go over, and they just had the match end with a Husky ref choke slamming Shane Strickland, and like Shane like jumped up a good like 6 feet for the choke slam to sell for him.
And we haven't really seen much of him in NXT, which makes me sad.
Yeah. There's a lot of people here that I'm like, oh yeah, this person works there now, but like, I would not know because I just don't even watch pretty much any WWE related anymore.
I watch NXT. I know and I catch SmackDown just because it is what. And I do a live stream where I talk about everything. Raw is like where I'm like, oh, did anything happen? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, bye now. But it's just like with NXT on one of the live streams. Co-host Eric actually just kind of said, he doesn't watch NXT because he's like, there's no point in getting excited about it. They're just going to get ring when they go to the main roster. And I'm like, well, you're right, but I guess like I'm so used to watching the independents where I'm like, well, enjoy them while they're good until they decide, okay, it's time to make money.
Yeah. Because like for me, when a wrestler goes to WWE, it's like I'm happy for them, but also just like. For me personally, like it's still like, oh, that sucks. Just because I watch so little, like WWE, I feel like they might as well, like in my own mind, have retired. Like, if that makes sense. Like, just because I'm probably never gonna see him again.
I get what you're saying. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't go that far personally. I
mean, it's not like an active thing. I'm just more like now, like I don't really go out of my way to watch it a lot. So I'm just like, they might as well not exist.
Well, I mean, like, I will, like, if I hear, like, hey, so-and-so had a match, so-and-so that you watched on the Indies had a match on Raw, like, I'll check out the match and then, like, hope they do good things, and then eventually they don't, and I'm like, well, damn. But it's like, it's kind of like, this isn't the best comparison, but it's the best thing I can think of. It's like when I I mean I despise the sport of basketball. I hate basketball. Like once Michael Jordan retired, I realized, wow, this is actually a sport that I do not enjoy in the slightest. Fuck basketball in every conceivable way. Fuck basketball. However, like I went to some college basketball games because a guy I was friends with in high school played college basketball, and I was excited about the basketball games because he was there, you know. And then when he was playing a good basketball game, I'm like, fuck yeah! But you know, I'm still not really a big basketball fan. I was just like a big Kyle fan, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and I was a big fan of like, oh hey, he made a 3 point shot. That's awesome. Oh hey, he's scored 30 points this game. That's great. But like as soon as I'm done, like and everybody's all like, let's watch Duke and North Carolina. I'm like, let's not because fuck basketball. But I mean, like I'm not quite that bad because like I will. I've said this 1,000 times. Like if WWE, like I want to love WWE. I want WWE to be like great.
I was saying, like, I want to be excited to watch it and actually, like, be invested enough where I, like, for, like, AEW, where it's, like, I make my night free to watch it.
Right. I mean, like, but outside of like the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, like I don't make my nights free for WWE.
Yeah.
I'll watch NXT, but kind of going back to the original points, like why would you want to? They're just gonna get ruined when they go to the main roster. It's like, well, I've watched the independents for so long. It's like, well, enjoy good shit when you can. Hold on to
Yeah, that's
the.
fair.
It's like the Disturbed song. Hold on to memories. You know, that's what I had to tell myself when Daniel Brian Danielson got signed to WWE. It's like, remember all these good times you had in Ring of Honor, and hold on to those because you're either going to see him achieve the high highs that he deserves, or you're going to become the laughing stock of the casual fans going, you like him? He was made to wear a freaking pink tutu and say I'm a loser on Raw after Batista like beat him in 2 seconds.
Crazy enough, I think Regal gave him, according to Brian's book, Regal gave him, like, a similar pep talk when he got signed. Just been like, remember everything you did? That was, like, everything you did before coming to WWE was your wrestling career. It is over now. Now, like, you're here to make, to make money and maybe enjoy some stuff here and there.
Right. And you know what? Like I think the one thing that I have truly I don't even know if I was ever in that position. But the one thing I'm like completely over on the internet is anybody who's like, well, this person sold out. Well, this person
Agreed.
sold
Yeah.
out. It's like, you gonna pay their bills? Like the independent wrestling scene is as much as you love it, like there has nothing in it, nothing. And you know, again, not knocking. I want everybody in the wrestling, every wrestler, to do what's best for them in their life. So while you might have somebody like ZSJ who's like, I'm not gonna sign with WWE because I'm not gonna, he legitimately does not agree with their business practices, their views on life. He doesn't do that. That's part of the reason why he didn't want to go to WWE. Couldn't bring himself to do it compared to other companies. That is so fucking awesome. This move.
Yeah.
So he didn't do it, and there's somebody else who's persona non grata who vehemently is like, I don't want to go to WWE because they're a capitalistic, and I like that's not my. Not saying that's good, bad, or indifferent, but it's like, okay, so because two guys said, I am so vehemently against this sort of business and this sort of lifestyle that I refuse to go, doesn't mean that someone else is in the wrong because they're like, I'm going to make money before my body shuts down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like, I'm not. I'm not saying that ZSJ. I completely disagree with ZSJ. I do not approve of WWE's business policies in the slightest. I mean, we're coming off of a bunch of releases because they quote unquote can't afford to pay you, so that way they can post another record profit and have their stands tell you this is why AEW is going to die soon because you can't be as much of a fucking genius as Vince. But it's like I don't blame anybody for going go WWE. Fucking make that money. Fucking get it. You know, because you're. I don't like seeing wrestlers end up like fucking
Yeah,
Nigel McGuinness, where he's like, oh, my body can't take it anymore, and I can't make the money, and it's like, well, poor guy, you know. And I'm glad he's doing all right for himself now as an announcer, but it's like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see, you know, all these guys that are put everything into wrestling and now they're broke because they put too much into it. That's just something like that. That's something like if this goes away in it never will. But if I could take one thing away from the wrestling community, if you want to kiss up to high spots, kiss up not the company the in the match. If you want to do that, do that. If you want to, um, only like New Japan and hate anybody else that's anything different or hate anything that's not you can do all that, but like the one thing if I could get rid of it is like anybody who leaves the independents or goes to WWE is an awful wrestler and they're a bad person now. Like that needs to stop.
yeah, agreed.
So this is the match that I remember the most from this show.
Agreed. Yeah.
Um and
This
we
was my first introduction to Orange Cassidy.
Same, same. I was well. I mean, like, well, we kind of spoiled the big surprise, but but we all three met SCU earlier. Was one of the people we met. We met SCU. Actually, had a very affordable photo op price for meeting essentially three guys. Um, but my favorite part of the whole thing is I made it. The previous two times I met Chris Daniels, he had a Hawkeye shirt on from the Hawkeye comic book, not the Jeremy Renner Hawkeye, the Hawkeye comic book. And I mentioned saying something like that, and I was talking about, yeah, Matt Fraction did a really good job making you care about this character, and even Jeff Lemire did, when he took over, and he's like, yeah, well, Lemire didn't have it on the same level, and we're like, me and Daniels having this conversation, and collectively, there's Charloco, there's Ann, there's Scorpio, there's Kazarian looking at us like, what? You've lost us. What level are you on right now?
And also, I was on the level of like, well, I was going to meet these guys tomorrow, because I was like, in my head, well, I was going to meet these guys tomorrow while I was wearing my SCU shirt, but okay, we're doing this now. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was more like, well, we're all here anyway. I should have just like thought of that ahead of time, though. But yeah, so this match, this was going to be one of the Dragon Gate six-mans, as it was going to be SCU against Pac, and I'm not familiar with the other two, but two other Japanese Dragon Gate talent.
Yeah. I while I'm okay, this is gonna be another one of I I I kind of I'm no Eric Bischoff, but I kind of like knock Dave Meltzer a lot. Not like because I dislike Meltzer, but just because like I just don't. I see wrestling a little different than Meltzer does at some points. Bad, bad camera shot there at the glare, like just shining off of Daniel's head. No, that's not a bold joke.
Yeah.
Um, but like, while the Dragon Gate six man against SCU would probably be like to a Dave Meltzer and like the people that really look at wrestling the same way Dave does at all times, the better match to have. I'd say we definitely like made out better, and I mean, There's gonna be somebody listening to this going like, "You didn't want to see Pac," and I'm like, "No, you don't understand. Watch this match, and you don't understand how like good this match was."
Yeah, they definitely made the best of the situation.
Yeah, I would have. I am happier that we got this.
Yeah, same. And also because, well, just reading from their notes, like a lot of people asked if they were going to do like a traditional Dragon Gate 6 men, like a lot of the Supercard of Honor shows. But unfortunately, they only had. I'm not going to like really list two because I'm not too familiar, but they only had like one Dragon Gate trios available. Every other talent they had was like of different stables, so they wouldn't have been able to do like the 3-on-3 Dragon Gate match.
Right.
But they were going to surprise the audience and have an actual was it open? I want to say open the Dream Gate or like whatever their top title is. That was going to be a match, like a three-way, like an actual top title match for the Dragon Gate Open, whatever you want to call it. Just an insight into what some of those matches were going to be. But yeah, I think in terms of a 6-man, I think they made the right choice here.
Oh yeah, and who would have thought like this would essentially be like again like when AEW would form like this is something that could potentially open any AEW pay per view. But like yeah, I didn't know I'd never seen Orange Cassidy before. I'd heard of Orange Cassidy. I don't want to completely shit on the ocean. Yeah, there's Orange Cassidy. Shit on the characterization of kayfabe, but I was familiar with Orange Cassidy's other role in Chikara, and that stable, and I did like that. But like, this is like a complete 180, of that role. Like it is. This was something like I'd never seen this and didn't know anything about like didn't know what to make of Orange Cassidy.
Same.
And I loved it, but it's just one of those. It's like how do I explain what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I just remember like the music hit and that when he came out, like I just remember being like, "Who the fuck is this? And how is he getting like the biggest pop of the night?"
Right. Same. And yeah, I mean, like I knew Best Friend. Like when I saw Best Friends, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, Best Friends, But like, I'm like, who's that? Who's that other guy? Who's the guy in the stuff and the glasses and the things? Um, but you know, it. And then I'm seeing this, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm trying to watch this and see what the moment is where like I finally like come around.
Yeah.
Or I finally like oh, this is awesome. I like this. So I'm going quiet here because I'm trying to like this is the one I like. Oh, okay, maybe it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just. Yeah, we're going really quiet because like this is the one I was looking forward to watching the most again because of all the things I'm like I don't remember this and boy it was good. Like here's this that like oh I remember everything about this and it was great. And then there's the next match where it's like oh I I hate all of this and I took my share of heat whenever I booed an individual in the next match, but we'll get to that story another time.
It's like, have you ever seen a list of like on AEW's YouTube channel? Like, I think they like where they list like what what videos have the most views?
No, I haven't seen that.
Like, like on the ranking, if you look like the top 10, like most of them are like Orange Cassidy matches, like in the millions. Like not even like the Jericho matches, but they'll be like I think like just random matches you'll have like with John Silver or something on Dark is like in like the 2 million like viewer range or something crazy like that.
Really?
Yeah, like I think on the top 10 it's mainly like Jericho segments, Moxley segments, and then a bunch of Orange Cassidy matches.
I mean,
Because I've noticed, I feel like I know a few people that like who've never seen wrestling before, and then they see like Orange Cassidy, and like that's the thing that like gets them.
yeah, I mean, putting over somebody else who I've interviewed on this very same podcast. Joseph Montesilio had a really well done
Oh
video
yeah, yeah, I like that video.
about why he feels that Orange Cassidy is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and Joseph's a great guy. It was great. Check out that interview. I don't always agree with every take that he has on his YouTube channel, but this was one where like I really like. I liked Orange Cassidy a lot, but like I never really thought about it in the same vein that Joseph does about Orange Cassidy. And whenever you see it in that way, it's like, he's right. It is he is one of the best wrestlers in the world, at least in terms of like what he's able to do and in character. Everybody hates Orange, like any old school person hates Orange Cassidy because he's killed the goddamn business, motherfucker. But it's like, the same type of people are the ones that go, well, the only thing that matters is if you're drawing money and you're getting reactions. You could be doing about 1,000 flips or whatever, but if you ain't drawing money, you're not doing good. He's drawing money and he's doing good, but you know,
I don't know, Orange Cassidy can pretty much really do a lot of these matches like probably into his 60s, where it may just be even better if you're watching an old man do it.
Oh yeah. Here's just opinion, and we're going to date this, especially if this ever comes into fruition. Is Orange Cassidy a future AEW World Champion?
I'm gonna say no, but I don't think that's like as a bad thing or a burial. I think they're pretty good at. I feel like they're going to be pretty good at kind of like protecting their title.
That's fair.
I feel like they're gonna like his title moment is. I feel like eventually they're gonna have like a trios like tag title tournament, and Best Friends and Orange Cassidy are gonna be like the ones to win it. That's kind of like their big sort of thank you moment, and also the moment where Chuck finally says shit on TV.
I'm gonna say no as well, but I'm gonna say no with an asterisk because, like, kind of well, okay, tying it into this weekend. Did you ever think Kofi would be the world champion? Like once the New Day started and like they kind of found their niche, and after Randy Orton called him stupid, like in that big between Kofi Mania and that, did you ever think we'd truly see Kofi Kingston WWE champion? No.
But no, never.
But you know, to WWE's credit, in this case, they saw something happening, and it just went on. And my point was being made until I'm realized, like, wondering what I'm watching right now, because it looks like this is the point where like Scorpio and Kazarian went at it. And
Yeah. For me, I'd
Now,
say the biggest reason no is just I feel like Orange is one of those wrestlers that's so over he may not even need a title.
right. Well, I'm not.
Like
I get kind of going back to my. I completely agree with you, but like kind of getting back to that point, it's like, but you never know. Like the thing with Kofi to me proved is like you truly never say never, and you never know when like lightning in a bottle is going to happen. You know,
that's
we
true.
we never thought we would see Kofi Kingston get that opportunity, but you know what? Just something hit at the right time, and it got the right reaction, and it was just everything was just for a company that never takes advantage of things falling into place. They took full advantage of everything falling into place that time, and now think of the same circumstances with a company that up until this point, you might be listening to this in 3 years, and we might be going, man, AEW sure was better in 2021. Now what the fuck have they done? But for a company that at least as of now, like always seems to whenever they have something fall in their lap, they take advantage of it. Imagine if the same circumstances were to occur with Orange. Do you still give them the belt? Like, what do you do?
I feel like if they ever went that route, it'd be good, and I probably would definitely cheer for it. Just never say never. Just right now, I'm gonna say never, but not in a bad way.
Right. Um, but I do agree. If they ever, and maybe by the time anybody listens to this, there might be trios belts. But yeah, that's definitely something that needs to happen. Is trios belts with the best friends in Orange Cassidy winning them, and then Chris Statlander dethrones Britt Baker, and then they all have a group hug with all the belts. That would be a happy moment for me. I'm
And
sure.
I'm just picturing best friends with like custom belts, but like instead of leather straps, it's denim.
That'd be awesome. You also go like how's Orange Cassidy gonna like take the belt? Because like whenever I like imagine like lackadaisical holding the belt, like I think of like when Naito like would just kind of like would kick the Intercontinental
Yeah,
title of the ring. It's like I don't see Orange Cassidy doing that, but like I also like I'm trying to imagine like how's he gonna carry a title belt to the ring?
like he
Like
doesn't even hold it; it's just draped on him, and it just kind of falls off as he walks.
yeah, I could see that. That'd be awesome, actually. Um, I think that was the move where you actually screamed out, "What are you doing? That man has a family!"
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Uh, uh, just picked his nose there. No big deal.
Now that we're watching this, I just gotta admit, how does High Spots have a better streaming service than New Japan?
Right?
Like, I've never watched any of their live stuff on here, but I assume that's also run better.
I can't speak for that, but yeah. How does High Spots have a better service than New Japan? How is Independent Wrestling.tv better than New Japan World?
What, you're not a fan of the Roku channel?
They have a
The
Roku.
Roku?
They have a Roku channel now.
Oh no, no. Their show is just on the Roku channel. But
Oh,
if you want to watch if you want to get the New Japan app, you can't use the Roku.
that's the big thing. Here's the worst part about the New Japan World app is it's just like, because like even on like, because they have one on an Amazon Fire Stick, but like, hey, I want to just look up this match from this year. Like think of like even on Peacock. hey, WWE, pay-per-view, year, SummerSlam, find the year, 1998, SummerSlam, you're there. New Japan Pro Wrestling, content, year, Road to Tokyo Dome, 7th game, Okada, Goto, Ishii, Robbie Eagles versus Jay White, Evil, Gato, Tongaloa. Japanese commentary, English commentary, Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi versus Taichi and Zack Saber Jr. Japanese 6th game. You're cycling through every match, every conceivable thing, VTRs, fucking just any content they made that year in however many languages, you're cycling through all those individual matches where you're just like, I just want to see this one G1 match from August. I really just want to watch this. Why do I have to go back literally 35 pages to find this match? And when you search for shit, yeah, this was a fun moment of the match. I love this.
Yeah.
Including a leg slap. Oh, also, just because I don't know when I'm going to get to talk about this again and because he's the referee, forgotten awesome moment of the weekend, meeting Bryce Remsburg. One of those things from meeting Liger and Shawn Michaels and Hiroshi Tanahashi and Minoru Suzuki and all these different people we met, it kind of flies under the radar, oh yeah, I met Bryce Remsburg. I never got to meet Bryce Remsburg. It was really cool to meet him after watching him, host Chikara podcasts and essentially be the hardest working referee in the business, just with everywhere he would ref. Yeah, that's one of those. It's like when I met Don Callis at Starcast. It's yeah, this flies. You almost forget you did, and that's oh yeah, I did. That's really cool. I'm very happy I got that. I got to do that. Yes. But yeah. Another thing about the New Japan app is when you search for stuff, sometimes it'll come up immediately, and sometimes it's just doesn't even show up. One time, I literally just hey, I want to watch Prince Devitt matches. I want to marathon some Prince Devitt.
Then you type it, and then it's oh, did you mean Antonio Inoki versus Andre the Giant?
Or, we have nothing for Prince Devitt. It's you don't. Really? Really? I never got Antonio Inoki versus Andre the Giant, but Prince Devitt doesn't exist. Did he perform some kind of issue? Is there some kind of crime that he committed in Japan that we're not aware of? Is that why by typing that in, it doesn't this makes no sense. But then you can type in some random thing. I remember one time just jokingly playing the game let's see if this guy's in New Japan. I typed in Jerry Flynn from WCW, and by God, it had a couple matches he tagged with Finlay in the 1998 World Tag League, and there was 2 matches of Jerry Flynn and Finlay versus whoever from World Tag League, or I think it was the G1 Tag League at the time, or whatever. And it's so it found 2 obscure Jerry Flynn, not Jerry Lynn, Jerry Flynn matches from New Japan Pro Wrestling. But Prince Devitt, Bullet Club founder, multiple-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion and Best of Saber Jr.'s winner. Nothing found.
Yeah, just the things they decide to put on and to not put on is just staggering.
I think I eventually found it, but it's like I had to do it. No zoom out. No Okada zoom out. It's a little sad. Get on your game, high spots. Don't become New Japan World. But it's like when I want to go back and rewatch old New Japan stuff. It's like I gotta be like in. It's like I almost gotta be mentally ready because I'm like, okay, so to find this match, you understand, you might have to take 20 minutes to go through all the different pages, find it, click on it, it accidentally be the VTR, and then have to go back and do that all over again. No, not to click on that one, but to click on the other one. And then you'll get the match. You want to go back and watch Minoru Suzuki versus AJ Styles from the G1 Climax 2014? Be ready for some stuff. Be ready for what could be a lot of trial and error and frustration. And I forgot SCU won this match. I thought for sure Best Friends did. Okay, well, for the match that I remember the most, I forgot the finish. I remembered Orange Cassidy. So I don't know what exactly.
That was a good main event.
That was a good main event. Yep. That was main event. We can all just go home now. You know, we got ourselves a big day ahead of us tomorrow. Like, let's go home. Let's get a good night's sleep. Yeah. So I will concede this next point before I go any further. You've heard me. If you are subscribed to this channel, you've heard me make these comments before. So if you're shocked by this, well, I'm sorry, but this is probably your first video. So I do not like Will Ospreay at all, on any level, as anything.
I can second this for myself as well.
I don't like his style of wrestling. Again, I'm no Cornette, but like, even I go, no, like, okay, hey, Zack Saber Jr. like beat up your leg and you can do like 12 flips now. Oh, hey, that's bullshit. Fuck you. And then on the flip side of that, if you don't like his style, rather than be like the Young Bucks or Ricochet or these people that do a high-flying style and go, hey, like what you like, he's just like, oh, you just don't know good wrestling. I'm Will Ospreay. I am a giant cunt. So
yeah, just the epitome of trying too hard.
Yeah, I fucking despise Will Ospreay, and if that means that I don't like good wrestling in your opinion, well, that's your opinion, and you're more than. I guess I'm pulling out 2 be a dick cards tonight. You know, it's
Dose Dick.
Dose Dick. Dose Dick Jr. But yeah, so this was like, as much as I enjoy Bandito, it's like, well, I know this is Ospreay's match, so this is like what I was thinking, and I was going into with significantly more alcohol in my system.
Yeah.
One of my fuck Will Ospreay tirades back at our seats, and we had some people who were nice people. I want to make that point perfectly clear. I'm not gonna. If you like Will Ospreay and you're nice about it, and you're not wanting to be like, "Are you stupid?" If you don't act like Will Ospreay about liking Will Ospreay, I don't have a problem with you. So, it's like, why do you hate Will Ospreay? I said all this, and they're like, well, I mean, he's such a great athlete, and I'm like, you're welcome. I think he sucks. I think he sucks, and I'm. Let's talk about the weekend because I'm probably gonna vom right now seeing this fucking piece of shit.
He's the human equivalent of those shitty mall swords that you'd like see of like a vendor sell.
Ironically, then he comes out with one later on, but yeah, like, boo, boo. But you know what? I'm in the minority and he's over.
Yeah.
So
I guess if we're gonna go on,
fucking like they sold a ton of meet and greets on him.
Yeah.
They sold tons. So I mean, again, it. This isn't like Roman Reigns as a babyface where he was like blatantly getting like booed out of the building and they're like, no, you must love him. This wasn't like Matt Taven. This wasn't like anything else. Like, he is over, and I am the minority, and whatever.
I don't know, but I guess if you look at the number of New Japan subscriptions and audiences right now, that's a minority too.
Whatever, I hate Will Ospreay. So if you're a Will Ospreay fan, and well, if you like him, that's great. I can, Brian Zane says it. Like what you like, don't be a dick. I'm certainly glad that you are at least a wrestling fan and you have found a wrestler that you enjoy. And if you're watching along with us and are excited to see this match with Will Ospreay, I'm happy for your excitement about the art of pro wrestling. If you want to hear us talk about why.
Sorry, I'm just like, this match has gone on for a few minutes now, and like, just now, you're letting Bandito do a thing.
Oh, I'm way the fuck behind you. The match just started, and he
I apologize. I must have missed something.
This is just like the first part of the match is like him doing a spot, almost getting a near fall, and now he just did shooting star press. It's like,
and it's about like
really?
that for the next minute or two. It's like, imagine working with Bandito and thinking, no, Bandito, don't do anything.
Just. We're going to talk about our weekend because back to kind of my original point is if you were listening to this hoping to hear us reminisce positive stories about how the happy fun time of us seeing Will Ospreay because you're a big Will Ospreay fan, you're barking up the wrong tree. And
I don't know. I was pretty happy when Suzuki broke his nose the next day.
That was cool. That was also when we got the death stares for chanting overrated at him as he came out by a lot of people from the UK.
It's like, come on, you guys, we were chanting with you in like the Zack Saber chants. Like, now you're gonna get all pissy at us.
It's part of the reason, like, I used to, like, part of the reason I got into this was there's, like, the plethora of British wrestling YouTube out there. And they make good content. Don't get me, I mean, and they're about 1 billion times ahead of my channel. I will, like, they are Alabama, and I am Division II junior college, if our channels were college football teams. But, part of the reason, like, there are two reasons why, like, I don't watch as much wrestling YouTube anymore is, one, like, I make my own stuff and I don't want to be, like, I don't want to make it seem like I gotta be influenced by what they're saying. But on the flip side, there's, like, a couple, and I won't mention names because I respect them. But, like, all their videos became, like Will Ospreay and Bret Hart love fests. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, no, I'm not going to watch this anymore. Oh, top 10 list of something. Well, Will Ospreay's number 1. Shouldn't be, but he is. And, yeah, just that that made me not really enjoy watching British wrestling YouTube anymore. Was just hearing,
Yeah.
you know, I guess I can appreciate you being proud of your countrymen, but I if you don't like the person's work, you don't like the person's work. But yeah, so the next show, because I got nothing good to say about this match, and again, it's just you know. Next day was the Rev Pro show, and let's just talk about WrestleCon itself. So, we went to, last year we did a podcast talking about our time at StarCast, and the shit show that ended up becoming. There were some good things at the shit show, but it was still a shit show, so WrestleCon was definitely not a shit show.
No.
For the most part. There's like one thing that was kind of unclear, but like once they figured it out, it was okay. And that was when the Rev Pro show that afternoon was hosting the meet and greet for all the, or the autograph signing, excuse me, for all of the New Japan talent. And the Rev Pro guys, like, thought it was going to be in one place, and then it ended up not being in that place, and it ended up being really, really confusing. And that's like the only thing that happened.
I feel like Rev Pro, were like, I have a feeling they were not wanting to do a New Japan like meet and greet. I figure they were hoping like High Spots would have had that taken care of, or New Japan would have had it booked. But it felt like it kind of fell on them, and they're like, "Ah, fuck, we gotta like kind of squeeze this in before the show starts."
Right, and what's interesting is, so our friend Ann, she went to the Ring of Honor meet and greet fan fest that they were having at Madison Square Garden, and Charloco and I stayed at WrestleCon. They had it at the one at the Garden. They had all of Lij. They had Okada, Ibushi. So I mean, there was like they both different meet and greets had their A-list. The A-list people there was just they split the A-list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they all went there, and then we stayed at WrestleCon, and they had. Like I said earlier, Suzuki, Tanahashi, Ishii, etc., Shibata. But it's like, I wonder if they were thinking that they were supposed to be at the Madison Square Garden one, because I remember buying tickets to the Madison Square Garden one thinking like, well, I'm just going to have to run myself even more ragged and try attending both. Because I want to meet all those people, and then like whenever I saw that, with the exception of Okada, who I really want to meet Okada, but he's still like definitely not as far as like my fandom on the same level as Tana and Suzuki. It's like, well, I'm gonna try and StubHub this ticket. And I ended up selling them at a loss just because I'm like, I don't want to. Somebody who wants this can have it. Which reminds me of like Shibata's professional photo op that I bought as an insurance policy got moved, and I thought I wasn't gonna be able to make it. So like, I literally saw some guy, and I'm like, "Hey, you! Do you like Shibata?" And he's like, yeah. I'm like, enjoy taking a picture with him. And I handed it to him, not realizing that if I just would have like waited another 20 minutes, not even impeding on the time where I had to go to take over the next day, or during Suzuki's match at the Rev Pro show, I would have been just fine. But like, that was just kind of my like, well, I don't want to risk it. Here you go, bud. And I don't know who that guy was. I don't know if that guy knew who Katsuyori Shibata was. I don't know if he even used it. Or maybe he thought he was getting fucked with. I don't know. But I gave my pro photo op of Shibata to just a guy. But, so you mentioned meeting Jesse Ventura, so getting there early and you being the second guy and what have you. I remember this was anybody who goes to a convention with me knows eventually I get what I like to call the con anxiety.
That is true.
Yes. The con anxiety is gotta get there early. Gotta get there early. I want to miss this. I want to miss it. I got lots of stuff I gotta do. Gotta get there early. Gotta get there early. If I miss this, I'm gonna be so mad. I paid so much money. This is my favorite thing. I don't want to miss it. And I remember being like, we gotta get there early, and did not want to go there early because just no real reason for her too to be there early, which I understand. But I was thinking, no, I gotta get there early, and for Shawn Michaels, because the other thing was Shawn Michaels was getting inducted. This was Saturday at WrestleCon. He was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I heard like I sold out to myself for buying the meet and greet because of the person that put it on. But the individual who's a rather infamous shoot interview producer who put it on may or may not have met Chris Hansen a time or two. Like actually said, hey guys, Shawn has to leave at 1. If we do not get to you, you will get a refund. And it's like, oh dear. So I get there, like I'm not in a bad spot, but I'm like, I hope I get there before 1 because they had like a bunch of VIPs that got to cut the line, and I'm like, fuck. But it ended up turning out okay. But then, like as I left, they shut the escalator down in the lobby to put Shawn Michaels' line on that escalator. And I remember just thinking, like, I made the right call. My anxiety was justified, and I did 100% the right thing for my mission for the day. And, yeah. That's...
I always find it crazy that, that was the exact same time at the Jesse Ventura and Bret Hart one. And, I don't know, I just always find it crazy that, like, Jesse only had like 10 people. Like, I would say he never had it empty, but it was always like maybe a line of like just a rotating 10 people, as opposed to like the out the doors that Brett and Shawn were having.
Right.
And obviously this isn't about who's bigger or whatnot, but also just more of a Brett and Shawn. They're not. I want to say they're pretty common guests. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know, I just thought, like, I always find it interesting that, like, some of these names, like Brett and Shawn, probably Flair, like, they do these events regularly, but will always still have that line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's just they're just iconic in that sense.
Yeah.
But I think it is interesting, you saying, like, that Jesse didn't have such a big line. I guess, not to get into this on camera, but do you think like maybe he said some controversial and has some controversial opinions that would upset people with on both sides of the political ideology side of things. Do you think that maybe some people will...
You're saying it's conspiracy.
Yeah, I'm saying it is conspiracy. Do you think that, like, that maybe that there's some people that, like, again, really not trying to get into this, but there's some people that would go like, oh, well, he said this one thing, and I can't respect a man that feels that way, so I'm not gonna go meet him now. You think that plays a part in it?
It might just be more that he was from so long ago and didn't really have a presence that, like, unless you really grew up at that point, you just kind of know him as guy that was commentator, then, like, became a governor. You know what I mean? Like, I think anyone that, like, later generations, it's kind of like...
That is Ospreay his most fuck that guy, that spot.
Oh, God, yeah. But yeah, I think it's...
No,
like,
you are not better than me. I am Will Ospreay. I am Flyman.
But yeah, just I think it's just with Brett and Shawn, it's like like even beyond nostalgia, like they got like newer generations of fans just through what through their matches being played over and over again and
Right.
building new audiences. I feel like Jesse didn't possibly also just not being that kind of wrestler, but
Well,
also just didn't get that kind of like nostalgia or like new audience.
right. And then with Sean, you also kind of had, he essentially had two careers. You had
Yeah.
me, who whenever I was a little kid, got to see Sean in his prime before he retired in '98, and then he had that whole second career whenever I was in, high school and college, and then you had a whole bunch of other little kids that got to see the second Shawn Michaels career. So like, you have so many more like people that you have two generations that got to grow up with Shawn, and then Brett is just kind of Brett, like, I mean, he's not. I respect the hell out of Bret Hart's matches. I'm not the world's biggest Bret Hart fan, but like, so many people from America love Bret Hart, and then he's like a god to anybody who's not from America. UK, Germany, Canada, like, yeah, like Bret Hart's the greatest of all time if you talk to him. So, you have all those people that traveled for WrestleCon from all these other countries, and it's like, oh, there's Bret Hart's here. The one thing I wish they would have done, and I would have done it, and it would have been cool, if they would have done a Bret Shawn dual photo op. That would have been kind of cool.
I've heard of like events that do that. Like I think like they did a one night like Q&A photo op sort of deal that like one WrestleMania weekend.
I saw like randomly back in like 2013, like somebody recorded they did a panel of the both of them together, which was really cool. But yeah, like I would have done like a Bret Shawn dual photo op. That'd have been kind of neat. But
sorry, I meant to say this earlier. I forgot about it. But yeah, that dive onto past the guardrail. Apparently, High Spots got like an earload from I guess the state commission who were like sitting next to them during this match, because apparently that's something you can't do on a New York sanctioned show, like diving into the crowd past the guardrail.
really,
yeah, that's another people for anyone trying to run a show in New York that's listening.
and it also makes something that happened at the Madison Square Garden show in that ladder match even more awkward.
Yeah.
But so you met Ventura and the Japanese. Did you meet anybody else at the show? Any other legends or anybody?
I'm trying to think of anyone that like that I didn't meet with like you guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I can't think of anyone on like a legend status.
Right. Well, I mean, or just anybody else in general that you didn't meet. Because I mean, I know you went to the. While I was at Takeover, you were at the WrestleCon penis party.
Oh yeah, I did talk to I met Shark Boy. Talked to him for a while. That's pretty cool.
Awesome. I still have yet to meet Shark Boy. I'm hoping when I go to Squared Circle Expo, I get to break that streak. But never know. And fuck Will Ospreay. And yeah, there's that. But yeah, it's because I think other than Sean and the Japanese guys, I know I got Barry Windham's signature on the Horseman poster, and I couldn't make it through Flair's line in time. And then I met D'Lo and Ron Simmons. Got a picture with them because they actually took credit cards.
I did D'Lo and Mark Henry.
Yeah, D'Lo, Mark Henry. Mark Henry's somebody else. Like I've always missed out on the opportunity to meet Mark Henry. It just never, something doesn't work out. Like the last big convention I went to that small one that had Darby and Sammy and a few people to kept the streak going. But like he was at the Louisville Comic Con that I went to right at the end of 2019, and he was there, but it was just like, I'm gonna go meet Mark Henry, and then he either wasn't at his table when I wanted to meet him, or when he was at his table, I was meeting George Takei or Steve Bloom or someone else. So it's just like, just always just missing out on fucking Mark Henry. So if there's ever a chance in the future to meet Mark Henry, I'm gonna try and take it this next time. And that was the WrestleCon Super Show and a shit ton of tangents. And here's Will Ospreay talking. And if you're a Will Ospreay fan, you might enjoy this. I think we were leaving. I honestly, I think at this point, like, we were all like saying we gotta catch a bus or a train or something, and we gotta leave. So yeah, that was the WrestleCon Super Show. And looking
match wise, better than I remembered.
Yes, I was getting ready to say, like, I think honestly it was, for all the shows I saw that weekend, I don't know if I want to say it was like, TakeOver was number one. I would maybe say it was the number 2 show. Maybe. If WrestleMania wasn't as long and exhausting, maybe I'd say WrestleMania was number 2 with this a solid number 3. But it was definitely like, it was a good enough show that I cannot recommend to anybody that, like, once WrestleMania weekend is back to full steam, full steam, if they're doing another one of these shows, go. Like, you see a real eclectic group of talent, from legends to the big indie names, Japanese, Lucha Libre stars. Like, I can't recommend this event enough. Like you said, it's better than I remember. It was better than MSG. It was...
Yeah. Like, I didn't even think, like, not even, like, thinking it was a bad show. I think just so much happened that weekend that just...
Right.
Forget things. And then watching it back, I'm like, oh, this holds up a lot better. Or, like, sticks out more, I guess is a better way to put it.
Yeah, there's so many matches where it's like, oh, I forgot this match happened, but damn, it was good. You know, you may not have got this from our commentary because we went off on tangents about the weekend, but, like, seriously.
What else would you be here for, though?
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, that is the end of this series. I want to thank Charloco for helping start this a year ago and helping complete it.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of wrestling, from the world of comic books, gaming, anime, and all things geek culture. Follow me on my social media pages, facebook.com/athleticgeek89, Twitter athletic_geek89, Instagram athleticgeek89, and if you would like to help improve my channel financially, I am on Patreon, patreon.com/athleticgeek89. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.